All right, everyone. Welcome back to the GDFL podcast, hosted by the Commissioner Andrew Korn. This week we have Levi on the show. Levi, welcome back.
Hello, everyone. I'm sitting here with the title.
Oh, you're not on camera right now if you have it, so
Gotcha. You can't see it, but I'm sitting here with the title.
we all believe you. Yeah, so big week of action across the GDFL this past week. Starting here, I beat Shrew 129 to 80. Stun beat Chaz 113 to 104. Sokol beat Beans 103 to 102. Jake beat you, Levi, 139 to 111. Trevor beat Logan 94 to 80. And then Mark beat Ryan 151 to 125. So of the slate of matchups, what stood out to you, Levi?
Well, there's a lot of game of the week potential with three of them. I thought the Stun Chaz matchup was pretty interesting to follow. Clearly, the Sokol Beans one was a barn burner. And then actually the Mark Ryan game seems like it has pretty big implications moving forward. So I believe mine technically eliminated me. And then the other two matchups just seemed like obvious wins for you and Rever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're not technically eliminated, but you would need to score 300 points
Never
to
say never.
never say never, but hey, and you had that ad out that you'll give a blowjob to whoever scores 300 points. So maybe it's
It's
you this week that does
true.
it. Give yourself one.
Yep.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head, though. That Stun Chaz matchup was huge for the playoff seeding. Stun pulled out a pretty low scoring win there. I know Sokol was sweating out his matchup with Beans. Like he was texting me at the end of the game, thinking like I just need like Travion to get a rush here, and then I think I'll get him. And then ended up pulling off a big run. And then yeah, I mean I mean Ryan really needed to win last week against Shrew. Like losing because this matchup with Mark was probably always going to be a loss for him. So that puts Ryan in a pretty precarious spot here heading into the playoffs potentially.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a lot of major shakeups across the standings this week. Which I'll go here. So Stun has officially clinched a bye. I'm now in second at 10 and 3. Chaz is in third at 9 and 4. Then we have four teams tied at 7 and 6 with Mark, Sokol, Trevor, and Ryan. Levi, you're 6 and 7. Jake is 5 and 8. Shrew and Beans are both 4 and 9. And then Logan is 1 and 12. So something that really, I mean, there's only four teams officially eliminated, and that's Jake, Beans, Shrew, and Logan. And something that was really interesting to me was this was the first trade deadline that we had where there was actually no activity at the deadline, which I thought was kind of interesting. But looking at the teams that are at the bottom of the standings, I think it kind of makes sense. I mean, if we're looking at the teams that have traded the least, other than Chaz, I think the teams that are in 9 through 12 here are the teams that have traded the least in league history.
Makes sense. There almost was some action at the trade deadline, I'll tell you, but there wasn't.
Hmm. And that's just the way it goes. I mean, I mean, really, like, there's a lot of these teams stuck in the middle, and like, I think for like Sokol or Ryan, it might not make as much sense to like make that kind of all-in push when you might miss the playoffs. And then like me, Stan, and Mark already kind of made our big moves earlier in the season. So it's like it was really like it's Chaz going to make a big move for the playoffs was kind of the one that was like at least I was keeping an eye on for.
Hmm.
Yeah, standing shook up. I mean, if we look at it, Ryan's on a three-game losing streak right now. I mean, he just went from being like so he was 7 and 3, and I think was in third, and it's now looking the outside looking in. Um, yeah, so you need okay, so for you to make it in, because you're against Ryan this week,
Yep.
and you'd also and Sokol and Trevor play each other. So yeah, you need to outscore if you need Sokol to win and then outscore Trevor by about 200.
Never say never.
So. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe Sokol wins his matchup. Like, I don't know. It doesn't. What it doesn't. I guess maybe Trevor only puts up 50, then you have the game of your life putting up 250. I think that's like the scenario I think you would be getting in. So yeah, never say never, but it's pretty much. Ship is probably sailed.
I've accepted that the writing's on the wall.
Yeah. And then just a quick look at the playoff scenarios. So Stun is pretty much locked in as the one seed unless there's some insane points tiebreaker coming in, which I highly doubt. I'm the two seed with a win or a Chaz loss, or I could also be the two seed if I beat Chaz in the points for tiebreaker. If we go back to the previous slide, Chaz has scored 1.14 more points than me. So I'm calling that virtually tied. So I have a couple different outs to get a bye here, whether it's a win, a Chaz loss, or just scoring more points than Chaz this week. So yeah, Chaz has a little bit of an uphill battle to get the two seed from me, but he definitely still could. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities. Mark has pretty much clinched his playoff spot with his win over Ryan this week. He locks up the four seed with a win, and then could potentially be fifth or sixth, depending on what happens with Ryan. Sokol and Trevor are both in a win and in, and the loser would make it in with a Ryan loss. And then Ryan is also in a true win and in scenario here. So. Yeah, a lot on the stake, a lot on the table here. High stakes for a lot of these matchups. Should be an exciting week 14 for us.
So his matchup with me will determine whether or not he makes playoffs.
Yep. Yeah, you can play spoiler to Ryan's season.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, so yeah, go ahead.
Nope, that's just funny. Cool.
hmm Yeah, so look at the matchups this week. I'm sure these projections are not accurate because I pulled them yesterday morning. I'm against Stun, so that's a battle between the current one and two seeds. I mean, Stun's position is pretty much locked up. Just a matter of whether or not I can hold on to the bye. And a matchup that doesn't matter at all. The only matchup that doesn't matter at all in Shrew versus Jake. We have Sokol versus Trevor, which are currently 5 and 6. I mean, depending on what happens with your matchup with Ryan, I mean, the winner guarantees a playoff spot in that one. Loser is about 50-50 whether they stay in or not. You're against Ryan in battle between 7 and 8. Chaz is against Beans this week, although I will say Chaz will be without CMC this week, so that's someone I think could be on a bit of an upset watch.
Hmm.
And then lastly, Mark is against Logan, and I mean I think Logan's projection is higher than this now, but I'm pretty sure Mark is projected to win by about 70 points. Um, Crazier things have happened. You never know who will lose to Logan, but I think Mark's pretty safely going to win that one. Yeah, a lot of big matchups. I mean, yeah, there's a 1-2, a 5-6, a 7-8, all pretty big playoff stakes here. Can't really ask it for it to be much better going into the last week of the season.
A lot to follow here. I think the Sokol Rever matchup will be the one to watch.
hmm Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Sokol's, I mean, I remember telling Sokol a few weeks ago, like, your end of season schedule is actually pretty easy. Like, you definitely could win your way into the playoffs, and he's pretty much there. And then yeah, Trevor's been kind of hovering in the middle all season. Or I guess he was had a bit of a hot start and then it's cooled off a bit, but he has Bucky back. And then yeah, Ryan's team is
Mhm.
coming back to earth with just like how lucky he's been with the schedule this year. So yeah, those two, yeah, your matchup with Ryan and then that Sokol Trevor matchup are the ones that are really interesting to me.
Same,
So
same.
yeah, some quick news and injury roundup. Uh, Amon-Ra has that ankle sprain. He's TBD for tomorrow. We're recording this Wednesday. It's 9:50 p.m. currently. Adam Thielen got cut by the Vikings. Well, he asked to be cut by the Vikings, then he signed with the Steelers. I think he's actually currently on waivers. Who knows? Maybe someone picks him up. And I think Adam Thielen's pretty much done. He said he's going to retire at the end of the season, so probably be silly for someone to pick him up. But hey, who knows? He wanted to sign with a contender, and I guess that's the Steelers. Uh, Hampton's likely to return this week. A couple quarterback news that I think are interesting is Herbert had surgery on his left hand, and he might be out this week. I saw Stun at the Pistons game on Monday and told him there was a 0% chance I was ever going to trade him Trey Lance. He didn't ask, but just unsolicited told him like you're not getting the backup to him. I kind of want to do everything I can to win a championship as well. Uh, Jane Daniels hasn't been cleared for contact yet, so I think it's going to be another week of Mariota. JJ McCarthy is going to come back from his concussion. concussion, quote, quote. I think they were just trying to make sure he didn't get embarrassed against that vicious Seahawks defense. That's at least the theory I've been rolling with. T. Higgins is still in concussion protocol. That'd be a huge lift for Ryan this week if he was able to play, because that makes Burrow a little bit better. Drake London is day to day. Aaron Jones is day to day. That affects Aaron Jones is kind of a fringe starter for me. I mean, I'd love to be able to put him in there, but we'll see. Drake London's pretty big one for Mark, though, if he could get him back, although it's not going to matter too much this week. And a couple Bucks players or I think are returning to practice. I think both Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan return to practice this week.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, some buys. We have the Patriots, 49ers, Panthers, and Giants. So, like, there's definitely some big names that are going to be out this week. I mean, with the Patriots, like Drake May. This is a big one for Sokol, not having Henderson and Diggs and Bryce Young all out for Sokol this week. It's actually going to be a pretty big one.
Yep.
For the 49ers, that's no CMC for Chaz. I guess it's no Kittle for me. No Purdy for Logan. There's no way Mark's, or yeah, no way Mark's losing to Logan. He doesn't have Purdy.
No.
Um, and then yeah, I mean Giants. I mean Robert doesn't need Dart. And then I guess Chaz also doesn't have Wandale too, and Wandale's been pretty good this year. So yeah, definitely some injuries. There's a lot of big names on this list. So definitely a lot to keep an eye on going into the playoffs.
Absolutely. The one that stands out is Sokol.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely will be. Yeah, no, potentially no Amon Ra. Oh, I forget. Yeah, no Amon Ra, Bryce
Yeah.
Young, Henderson, Diggs. Yeah, Sokol's depth's really going to be tested this week.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Quick look at the updated draft order. So now Logan is at the first overall pick. Shrew is at two. Logan is also at three. Ryan is now would have the fourth overall pick were he to miss the playoffs, and I think he'd be pretty locked into the fourth overall pick. Potentially even fall into third, depending on how much you outscore him by this week. Like your max points are actually fairly similar, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Beans is at the five pick. Jake's at six. And then Shrew has both Trevor and Mark's pick at seven and nine. Sokol's at eight. Chaz is at 10. And then Beans has both 11 and 12. Uh, so yeah, definitely some. Yeah, Ryan falling out of the playoff picture was a pretty major shakeup to the draft order here.
Kudos to Beans and Shrew for getting so many picks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the draft right now is going through three teams. It's going through Logan, going through Shrew, and going through Beans.
Hmm.
All that's subject to change, although those are three people who don't trade nearly as often as the rest of us. So we shall see how much shakeup there is in this draft, potentially going into 2026. So yeah, our special segment this time. So we're gonna do a way too early 2026 mock of the first round. But before we do that, we're gonna take a quick look at the one Levi and I did last year where we did a way too early 2025 mock. So in this mock, for the people listening on Spotify, Trevor with the 101 got Ashton Genty on the Cowboys, which definitely would have been a massive upgrade over his current Raiders landing spot. Ryan with the second overall pick got Ted McMillan on the Browns. So Ryan did end up taking Ted. Was not a Browns receiver though, well, the Panthers receiver, which I think was definitely an upgrade there as well.
Hmm.
Sokol at the third overall pick got Shedeur Sanders on the Giants, going second overall. That's really funny that he was. We were talking about him being one of the top picks when he fell to the fifth round of the NFL draft.
Hmm.
Beans taking Luther Burden, projected to go to the Bengals at pick four. And this was Luther Burden projected to be 13th overall pick. That was when all speculation that T. Higgins definitely wasn't coming back. So
Which made sense at the time.
yep, oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that goes to show like all this can change really quickly. I mean Luther Burden was still an early second round pick, and then also was in the GDFL draft too. But yeah, once upon a time was viewed as like a early to mid first. Shrew at five, taking Travis Hunter, receiver for the Jags. We kind of cooked there. Uh,
Yep.
yeah, like really so far looking at and then at Beans getting Cam Ward, the Titans quarterback. So like really like looking at this top six, I mean Trevor took Genty, Ryan took Ted, uh, Shrew got Travis Hunter, and Beans got Cam Ward. We actually kind of cooked there. The seventh overall pick, Trevor was taking Emeka Egbuka, receiver for the Chargers. Egbuka did go seven in the GDFL draft. Chaz at eight took Isaiah Bond, receiver for the Steelers. He wasn't drafted. That's a fun one to look at and see. Uh, was apparently a first round talent at one point.
Wow.
At nine, we have Stun taking Ollie Gordon, running back on the Bengals. I think he was like a sixth round pick in real life to the Dolphins. So again, someone this mock draft was wildly off on. We have Ryan taking Quinshot Judkins, running back on the Broncos. So the Broncos did take a second round running back. It just wasn't Judkins. Uh, Jalen Milrow. I This had me taking Jalen Milrow, quarterback on the Browns. I did take a Browns quarterback in Dylan Gabriel, so I guess that's not too far off.
True.
And then at 112, we had Ryan taking Omarion Hampton, who was mocked to be a Chargers running back. And
Spot on.
yeah, spot on. It just happened to be he was the first round pick for the Chargers, not the second. Yeah, even like looking at the other names that were into consideration here, like I'm pretty well, it was pretty well in depth with last year's draft class. I have no idea who Evan Stewart is, and he was mocked to go in the second round of the Commanders.
Dude, same. These prospects stood out a lot more a lot earlier into the year. The ones we
Mhm.
have now, it's not quite the same.
Yeah. Yeah, we both had see Colson Loveland and Tyler Warren were both projected. I mean, Loveland was projected 19th to the Broncos. Tyler Warren projected in the second round to the Saints. Both of them ended up going like 10 and 12 or something like that.
Hmm. Oh, you
And
know what? Evan Stewart went to Oregon, I think.
okay, yeah, I still couldn't tell you anything about him. Trey Harris was a mid-second round pick in our draft, and I mean, I think he went mid-second in the NFL. He was that 224 pick for the Chargers, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one that was pretty close. And then yeah, Quinn Ewers, seventh round pick. Garrett Nussmeier, I think went back to LSU. So yeah, definitely some fun ones to look back on of like, well, yeah, how right were the experts at this time last year, which apparently was not very right at all. So yeah, I think t the moral of this is just take everything we're about to do with a grain of salt. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna do I made it named a recap. Whoops, an early 2020, a way too early 2026 mock draft. So I got this from tankathon.com because that was one of the few websites that had three rounds of picks to this point. So for the people listening on Spotify, at pick three, the Saints draft Fernando Mendoza. At pick four, the Raiders select Ty Simpson. At pick five, the Browns select Dante Moore. These are all quarterbacks. At pick seven, the Jets take receiver Jordan Tyson. At pick 13, the Chiefs take running back Jeremiah Love. 14, the Steelers take receiver Carnell Tate. 19, the Ravens take receiver Makai Lemon. 20, the Bucks take tight end Kenyon Sadiq. 21, the Bills take receiver Denzel Boston. At 26, the Browns take receiver Chris Bell. At the 201, the Titans take receiver KC Conception. At the 202, the Giants take receiver Chris Brazzell. Pick six, the Jets take quarterback Lenore Sellers. Pick 207, the Cardinals take quarterback John Mateer. 213, the Steelers take quarterback Gus Nussmeier, Garrett Nussmeier, who they also took in last year's mock draft in the second round. 215, the Panthers take receiver Jeremy Bernard. 229, the Rams take receiver Jacoby Lane. 230, fuck, I just wrote Clemson. Don't know
That's
what
a
team
crap.
that was supposed to be. It's an error. Whoops. I don't think we're going to mock him anyway. 232, the Patriots take receiver Elijah Sarrett. And then the 306, the Cardinals take running back Justice Haynes. So yeah, went through list of names. What stands out to you here, Levi?
It seems like there's a lot of darts being thrown at both the quarterback and wide receiver position this year. And then in terms of running back, tight end, there's clear number ones, and otherwise it's really doesn't matter. Which is really, I don't know. I mean, there's obviously a lot of offensive players being taken early in this draft, but there's not anyone that really stands out to me other than Jeremiah Love. I've heard good things about Mendoza, but the rest of the quarterbacks, like I know Lenora Sellers is exciting, but extremely raw. Neusmeyer's old. Um, like they all come with some pretty glaring flaws from what I understand.
Yeah, like I think Ty Simpson and Dante Moore are both having good seasons at Alabama and Oregon, respectively. But like both of them really don't have much starting experience.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, I mean, Carnell Tate's another Ohio State receiver, like probably a pretty safe bet. And then, yeah, I really don't even recognize the receivers here between 121 and 202, which again, some of these guys might not even be drafted, as we saw in our last mock. So who knows? Take all this with a grain of salt. I think you hit the nail on the head, though. If Jeremiah Love probably is going to be a consent, if this is what actually happens, probably be the consensus 101 in rookie drafts. And then, yeah, it seems like Kenyon Sadiq's a pretty clear tight end one based off of this mock. And it seems like running back is not particularly deep in this draft, but though, who knows how accurate that actually is going to be come the real NFL draft.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we're going to do what we did last year and then do a mock draft where we're going to we're going to go through each team and make some selections. So, Logan with the 101. What are you thinking Logan would do here, Levi?
I would imagine we're on the same page here, and Logan will be taking Jeremiah Love, a first round running back, picked 113 by the Chiefs.
Yep. Yeah. If he got drafted to the Chiefs, like I think people would be absolutely obsessed with getting this guy on their team. Because I feel like the Chiefs running back room has been kind of an issue for years now. And especially this early, he went 13th overall. I feel like everyone would want this pick.
And there are quarterbacks with high draft capital to take, but Logan's team being what it is, and him also having three, I just think it makes sense for him to get Love.
Yep. No, I completely agree with you. So yeah, Shrew at pick two. I think there's if again, there's like hardly any running backs that went early in this. And looking at Shrew's team here at two, I think is a very interesting selection. Because it's like his receiver and tight end room is pretty good. His quarterback room is fine. His running back room is awful, but there's really not a running back to take here. So I'm curious at what you think Shrew would do here.
I have him taking Mendoza. Um, I could see him trading the pick for a running back if he feels good going into next year. But I also, Caleb has admittedly played well this year. Stroud had a bit of an up and down season to this point, and it just seems like a team, and knowing Shrew, this just seems like a pick he would go with.
Yeah. Yeah. Jordan Tyson going to the Jets. Don't really see him doubling down on Jets receivers. Like that seems like a recipe for disaster. No, I think I'm there with you. I think Shrew would probably go best player available if this was what actually happened. Yeah, definitely could make that case that Mendoza is that best player. So yeah, no disagreement here. I'll put Mendoza here to Shrew. No, all right. Let's make font in there a little smaller. All right. Logan at pick three. First two picks are Jeremiah Love and Mendoza. What do you think Logan does at three?
I have a footnote here that says Logan should trade this pick. But since we're not doing trades, which I don't think that it would hardly make sense to. I just had him taking next best player available, which I went with Ty Simpson.
Okay. Yeah. So this is again, I think Logan's in an interesting situation here where like I think realistically he should probably be trading one of these picks, whether it's the 101 or 103,
If not both.
if not both. And like really could just needs to like stockpile assets and picks just to like get some depth on that roster. Yeah. I mean, we really have not seen any history of Logan making draft picks to
Hmm.
know exactly what Logan would do here. Yeah, I mean, I could see him going Ty Simpson. I also know he really likes his quarterback room of Love and Purdy. So like I also wouldn't be shocked if he went Jordan Tyson here.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's definitely an interesting one though. And like perhaps that's what Logan's move is too. He's trading one of those quarterbacks for maybe like a receiver and a running back he can start if you were to go Ty Simpson. Yeah, man, we're giving Logan such good ideas. and he's not even going to listen
He
to us.
didn't even listen. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no problem having Logan go Ty Simpson though. I think it could either be Ty Simpson or Jordan Tyson based off
He
of this mock.
he can take anyone at any position. Really, his team needs anything.
Yep.
So there's no right answer.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it'll be more interesting if we have him take Jordan Tyson here, just because of like what's gonna. I don't know. I'm just like looking at what Ryan would do, and I mean, Ryan really doesn't need a quarterback. I think it might be more interesting for us to have him take Jordan Tyson to really like fuck up this mock.
That's cool.
Yeah. Logan also just like needs receivers desperately too. Like when Jordan Addison's your best receiver, kind of
Yeah.
need all the help you can get at the position.
Just needs tons of flex.
Yep. Yeah. So Ryan here at pick 104. I think, I mean, same thing with like what we said earlier. I mean, his quarterback room is pretty settled. I mean, I think Ryan also needs running backs, but I don't see him reaching on Justice Haynes here. That'd be a massive reach. I think Ryan would go Carnell Tate.
So I actually had Ryan taking a quarterback. I don't have an issue with going Carnell Tate. Tate's the one receiver that I like and recognize in this mock. Um, but I just because of the injury woes that Ryan has and the fact that there's no solidified QB3 on his team, I had him going quarterback.
Okay, so you probably had him going Dante Moore then.
I did, but I don't really have a preference. I'm partial towards Mendoza because I've heard great things, but as far as these top three go, they all sort of seem about the same to me.
Okay. I mean, I talked us into having Logan take Tyson at three. I mean, you think Ryan would take quarterback here at four?
Yeah.
Okay.
He does have more flex than Logan, and I mean, we've seen the Joe Burrow thing bite him pretty hard, and we're seeing it bite him with Jaden Daniels this year.
Hmm. Yeah, I can get on board with that. Then who
I
knows?
think he will trade that pick before he takes it, though.
Yeah. Ryan would be a candidate. I could definitely see him trying to trade up to, I mean, because again, I've been lower on his running back room, like long term. Like he has Hampton, but having a Hampton Love RB room could be pretty cool for him.
Hmm.
All right, Beans. I think Beans here, I mean, Beans needs both quarterbacks and receiver. This is a good draft to do it. I mean, we have a quarterback open for him. It's just crazy. I think going into the season, like on paper, I mean, it wasn't like guaranteed to be a hit, but having Lamar, Fields, JJ, and Cam Ward, like on paper, going into the season felt really solid. And then it's like, oh, all three of those, not named Lamar, they're actually all trash or have been trash this year. Um, yeah, I mean, I think Beans would go quarterback here if this is how it's going so far.
I think so. I still think the jury's out on Ward. I won't judge him for this season, but I don't feel good about McCarthy or Fields. So I could see Beans going quarterback.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I mean, Cam Ward is in an awful situation. I mean, his best receivers this year have been fourth round rookie receivers. It's kind of a no-win situation for him. We'll have him
Hmm.
going Dante Moore.
I
All
couldn't
right.
tell you if Dante Moore's better than Cam Ward, but I could see Beans taking the dart throw.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have about 10 minutes left, so we probably should speed through these next few picks a little bit faster.
Word.
So Jake here at six, I think goes a receiver. I mean, the one I recognize is Carnell Tate. I think that's kind of the clear-cut pick here for Jake.
I did tight end, just the Kelsey incumbent to Kelsey, but I have no issue with Carnell Tate.
Yeah. I mean, I could see him going tight end, but like I know when we were doing the positional rankings podcast, Jake said he felt good about his tight end room with AJ Barner and Juwan Johnson.
Word.
So
True.
yeah, who knows? I know Kenyon Sadiq's supposed to be a pretty hyped up tight end right now.
Hmm.
Okay, so Shrew here. Uh, Again, I feel like we're just going down the order here of like position a little bit, but I mean, I think Makai Lemon here would probably be the pick since he already got Mendoza at two.
Yep. That's what I had.
Yeah, all right. Go Makai Lemon for him here at seven.
And anyone that took a receiver, just full disclosure, I don't know anything about these receivers other than Tate. So if I thought someone should take a receiver, I just went down the line.
Yep. No, that's kind of where I'm at too. Like, I really, again, I know Jeremiah Love was hyped up. I know Tyson's been a bit hyped. Carnell Tate's an Ohio State guy. I
Hmm.
think Makai Lemon's a USC guy and is like another Zay Flowers type where he's small and undersized. But that seems to be, I mean, I guess
Oh, okay.
this mock has it like in that archetype for the Ravens, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right. For Sokol here, I mean, I think this pick would also be a receiver with this mock.
Yep.
Probably
Denzel Boston.
Denzel Boston potentially could be the Bills' number one. They
I
really,
like the smell of that.
yeah. That's one, like, depending on how the real NFL, like, I could see these two being flipped where Shrew takes Denzel Boston. Like, again, you can tell yourself that story that maybe he's the Bills' number one receiver long term and not, Makai Lemon might be the number two to Zay Flowers at best there.
Hmm.
Yeah, because you could always tell ourselves a story there. All right, Shrew here at nine. Uh,
Uh, I would just go receiver again.
yeah, I probably would too. I think this is where I would first start to consider Justice Haynes, though. Just because like the Cardinals do need a running back. Like that's been pretty weak position for them. And Trey Benson really hasn't played or shown a ton at the NFL level yet.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is probably the first spot where I'd actually start considering Justice Haynes. But I have no problem sure take I mean, when there's a first round receiver, I feel like that's an easy thing to take.
Yeah. It's safe.
Yep. So yeah, Chris Bell. I don't even know where college Chris Bell goes to. I could say the same thing for Denzel Boston too.
Hmm.
No idea. Okay. And then Chaz. So Chaz has McBride, so I don't think he'd take Kenyon Sadiq.
I
This,
went receiver.
yeah. I mean, I think receiver definitely makes sense. I could also, I mean, 206. I could see Chaz taking one of these quarterbacks too, because I don't know if Geno is the long-term answer for the Raiders anymore. So that leaves them with just Baker and Darnold potentially going into next year.
Hmm.
So I could definitely see Chaz going one of these quarterbacks, like whoever's hyped up to being a starter week one.
You've talked me into that actually, and it doesn't look good for Gino. I would go Lenoris Sellers here.
Yeah. Let's
That would be
go.
my pick, I guess.
Yeah, let's go with Norris Sellers. Yeah, especially if they're having Ty Simpson go to the Raiders. Like, I feel like that means it's not going to be Geno time anymore in Vegas.
Hmm.
All right. Now we have two picks back to back here for Beans. So, yeah, what do we think Beans does here?
Well, he did already go quarterback, so I'm not going to do that again to him. I like his tight end room, but I would take Sadiq here for the value, even
Mhm.
with he took Loveland last year, and that seems like a fine pick. But if not that, then probably receiver or Justice Haynes. Beans just could use flex.
Yep. Yeah. So Beans has Loveland. He also got Gadsden too, who he hasn't been as good the
Oh
last
yeah.
few weeks, but he had like that 3, 4 week stretch where he had a ton of hype.
You
Yeah.
could tell me a story about Beans needing any position.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I actually I don't mind him going like Kenyon Sadiq here because I know he's been getting some buzzes. I know he could plays at Oregon and has gotten some buzz of being a pretty good tight end.
Yeah.
Maybe Beans went best player available last year when he took Cam Ward, even though quarterback wasn't need on paper. I could see him taking tight end even if it's not his biggest need.
He's a savvy drafter.
Yeah. So yeah, this last pick here, I think I'd actually lean Beans going Justice Haynes over some of these receivers. Like in theory, Beans will have like a mid second round pick where he could take one of these receivers,
Hmm.
and then I don't know, doesn't necessarily need to. I mean, maybe he has a preference among them. I don't. I mean, I know Jeremy Bernard's at Alabama. I was at Alabama at least. Who knows with the transfer portal? Um, yeah, I think I could see him definitely going Justice Haynes here.
I have no issue with that.
Okay,
It's a
so
flex. Beans could use a flex.
yep, yeah, could use a little bit of running back depth too.
Yep.
Okay, so our official mock draft has Logan taking Jeremiah Love at one, Shrew going Fernando Mendoza at two, Logan taking Jordan Tyson at three, Ryan taking Ty Simpson at four, Beans taking Dante Moore at five, Jake going Carnell Tate at six, Shrew going Makai Lemon at seven, Soko going Denzel Boston at eight, Shrew going Chris Bell at nine, Chaz going Norris Sellers at 10, Beans going Kenyon Sadiq at 11, and then Beans going Justice Haynes at 12. So yeah, as we're wrapping up this mock draft, do you have any final thoughts on what we did here, or any additional thoughts?
I really think Logan should trade down with Beans or Shrew, or I think he should trade one of those quarterbacks, like you said.
Yep.
But otherwise, with what we know about the draft, I think this is a pretty good, clear-cut vision.
hmm Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely there with you. Like Shrew trading up to once to get Jeremiah Love, I think would actually be probably pretty good for his team, assuming this is the landing spot and he's the first round running back taken.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean Logan would get some much needed flexes on his team. Maybe Beans would get some help with flexes. There'd be some quarterback stability for a lot of these teams. Yeah, definitely be interesting to see if this is what actually happens. How many of these are right? I mean, going back to last year, some like half of these were like right picks to teams or just like the right team they were drafted to.
We did good last year.
Yeah, we cooked last year. I mean, I know
Absolutely.
a lot less about these players, and yeah, we'll just have to see how that goes. All right, Levi, we're running out of time. You have any final thoughts before? Actually, we still have 2 minutes left. But yeah, do you have any final thoughts you want, anything you want to plug before we wrap this up?
Not really. I'm looking forward to teams eliminated from the playoffs. Feel free to hop in my inbox. I'm always looking to make a deal. Go Holsteins.
Oh yeah, yeah. A reminder to everyone, teams that are officially eliminated from the playoffs are able to make trades. So right now, that is only Jake, Beans, Shrew, and Logan. So there's not going to be any trades made this week. I can say that with a lot of certainty. But yeah, I mean, feel free to go crazy once you're eliminated. I guess one thing I probably didn't explicitly mention, because the third place matchup has money on the line, and that matchup matters for, I mean, money and draft order. Like really only the teams like who that finish fifth through 12th will be able to make trades once that this deadline passes. Um, yeah, I'll keep it. Yeah, I mean, if something gets accepted and I'm saying it's not allowed, I'll just tell everyone to reverse it. So yeah, just want to plug in one last sponsor that we had before the show. So this episode was brought to you by the I Hate Shrew Foundation. Shrew, if you're listening to this, I hate you. That was not from me. That was just what the corporate sponsor said to say.
That
So,
was not from me either.
okay.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see who sponsored the show. Uh, Looking for sponsors for the show. The GDFL podcast is a little bit low on funding these days, so would love if people make a donation and send in an ad. Yeah, thank you all for listening, and I will see you all next week.
Go Lions.